presentation is called Flowers Are Essential to Ag. So why are flowers so important? Well, without flowers, we would not have jeans. Jeans come from cotton, and we wouldn't have jeans without flowers. We wouldn't have soy milk or other types of milk. We wouldn't have like almond milk, cashew milk, things like that. Paper, apples, sunflower seeds to snack on at baseball games, honey, French fries, corn plastic, even pumpkins for Halloween. All of these things are here because of flowers, and that's why flowers are so important. It's because of all of the products and the things that we use every single day and the food that we enjoy. So once we have flowers, they need to be pollinated to be able to give us the fruits and vegetables that we love. Now, pollination can happen in all different forms. We have pollination by wind, we have self-pollination, cross-pollination, and then we also have pollination with the help of pollinators like bees and butterflies. And we even have pollinators like birds and bats and things like that. So what if we had a future without pollinators? What would that look like? So here's a picture of a grocery store without bees. So here our shelves are very empty. So that tells me that flowers are so important to agriculture. We would have very empty shelves without pollinators and without flowers. So our first activity, we are going to learn about the parts of a flower. So we are going to make a flower origami, but first we need to learn about the parts of the flower. So here's a diagram of a flower. Now, flowers can look in lots of different ways. So if we take a corn plant, for example, we have the tassel on top, and we have the ear of corn. That's both parts of the flower, they're just in separate areas on the plant. So for example, the tassel is the male part of the flower, and the ear of corn is the female part of the flower. Now this picture right here is a complete and perfect flower. All of the parts of the flower are in this one area. But we even have plants like ginkgo trees that has a female tree and a male tree. And so today we're going to look at the parts of the flower. So every plant has these parts of the flower. They just look different. They come in many different shapes, sizes, colors. And so for the female part of the flower, we have the pistil. The pistil has three different parts. It has a stigma at the top that collects the pollen. It has the style, which is a tube that carries the pollen down. And then it has the ovary. The ovary is where the eggs or the future seeds sit. So once the pollen enters the stigma, it travels down the style and goes to the ovary. Then we have the stamen. The stamen is the male part of the flower. The stamen consists of an anther, which is the area of the flower that makes the pollen, and there's a filament that holds the anther up. So the pollen has to get from the anther to the stigma. Then we also have sepals. Now sepals come in different colors and shapes as well. Some flowers, the sepal looks like an additional petal, and sometimes, like this picture, the sepal is green and it looks kind of like a leaf. And then we have the stem. So with our flower origami, you will need 4 pieces of square paper, tape, scissors, 2 green pipe cleaners, a square piece of tissue paper, a white pipe cleaner with a yellow bead, and 4 yellow pipe cleaners with white beads. Okay, so I'll show you the step-by-steps, and I can link this lesson in the comments so that you have the step-by-step directions. But first you take 1 sheet of square paper. You'll fold it so you have a triangle. And then you're going to fold the corners up to meet the center so that you have a square, just like this. Then you're going to unfold it, and where you have the creases, you're going to fold it up, each triangle where the crease line it up with the crease so that it overlaps the side. Then you're going to take each of those overlaps and fold them down. Like this. And then you're going to fold it, or kind of round it, so that makes 1 petal, and tape it. Now you're going to repeat this step so that you have 4 or 5 petals. Now I already did this for time's sake, so I have my petals taped together here, and you'll see that there's a hole in the middle, and that's where our stem is going to go. Okay, so then you're going to take one green pipe cleaner, and this is your stem, and you're going to take your pistil. So at the top, the yellow bead, so put one bead on top, kind of wrap it around. That is the stigma. This is the female part of the flower. This is the stigma, the part of the flower that collects the pollen. And then this pipe cleaner is the style. And at the bottom, at the base, there is an ovary with eggs that will be pollinated and fertilized to make new seeds. Then you want to take your 4 yellow pipe cleaners and put one white bead at the top. This is the stamen. The top is the anther. That's the part that makes the pollen. And then the yellow pipe cleaner is the filament. We usually have more stamens than we do with each flower. There's usually, with a perfect complete flower, there's one pistil that collects the pollen. So in this perfect and complete flower, that's what we're going to use is one pistil, and we have 4 stamens. So then we're going to take it and wrap it around. And take our stem and wrap those around the stem. And you can make this look a little nicer. I'm just going to do it this for time's sake. So then we're going to pull it kind of apart so that the stamens are around the pistil. And then we're going to take our petals. You can put the stem through the flower and pull it down so that it fits right in there nicely. Then you're going to take your leaves, and this, you can use another green pipe cleaner. You don't have to have the ones with the special leaf sections to it, but you're going to wrap that around so you have some leaves. And then you have a flower origami. Okay, oh, and then here is your sepal. So you want to put a hole in your tissue paper, and then you can just slide that up right underneath your petals, just like that. Okay, so now we want to look inside the stem. So now we have some celery here, so we're going to switch gears. So once we have the stem, there is a couple different vascular bundles inside of the stem. So here's a celery stick. So when you're eating celery, you're eating the stem. Inside of the stem, if you cut the celery in half, you'll see tiny little holes on the kind of outside edge of the stem. Those are vascular bundles that are bringing in water from the roots and carrying nutrients down. So through photosynthesis, we have nutrients moving down the stem and water and nutrients moving up the stem. So with each vascular bundle, it's divided in half, and I have a picture of this too. And we have both xylem and phloem. So phloem, I like to think of phloem as it flows down the stem. It travels down the stem, so it's carrying the sugars from photosynthesis down the stem. And then the xylem is bringing water up from the roots up the stem. So you can really see it in a celery stick. So today we are going to just do a quick activity. I know we're getting close to time. So here I have some flowers that have been sitting in some blue dye. And you can see if I pull this up, blue is starting to flow up to the petals. I had these flowers sitting in red dye, and you can see that my petals are starting to turn red. We even have, this one was an orange, we even have some orange coming up on this flower. So that shows us that the water is traveling up the stem. So here I have a cup with some flowers and a celery stick. I'm going to add just a couple of drops of food coloring. I'm going to mix that in. I'll just mix it with the celery stick. And after a couple days, it'll take a while to have the water flow up the stem. But then in a couple days, you should start to see the food coloring start to dye the petals through those vascular bundles. And the celery stick should start to change colors as well. And you can experiment with different colors and see if one color dyes faster. You can try different flowers. And if you have any questions, you can comment, and I can answer those after this post. And I will share the link to the origami steps so that you have that as well. And I encourage you to try different flowers too and see which flowers dye the best. Thank you.